Inc.
Out the box entertainment.
So sometimes the client has a particular shot that they're interested in. This particular client on this job, he requested the dolly and the jib being on the actual dolly itself and getting a bird's eye view over a bed. I think what he wants to achieve is dolly tracking motion over the client and and just opening that shot, I think, from the email he had said. So with this, the dolly itself is, stay on me. On this, the dolly itself is 12 feet of track, and each track piece is 4 feet. So this right here is actually I think it is 4 feet long, and when it's all put together, it comes out to 12 feet of track. So right here is the jib. Right here is the jib. It's in sections right now, along with the tripod, and it's on the dolly bed. When we come back, I'll put this on the actual tripod, put the head on the actual jib head, and put the 7D. Actually, I'm going to be using the 60D today. My daughter right now, who's filming this, she has the 7D in her hands. We'll be putting on the 60D with, I think, a 35 to 80 millimeter lens, just so I could get that, close up the size of the frame, so I could get just the bed. The thing that's kind of funky about this particular shot is you need to keep your size of the frame smaller, because even though you're extending it and you're going here, if you have a really wide focal length, then you're getting some of the track and some of the dolly and stuff like that. You don't want that in the frame, of course. So you keep it nice and condensed, and then you maneuver it that way. The jib itself is the Glycam 200, I think, the Glycam jib arm. And in this situation, I usually tell the clients, well, how much room are we maneuvering in? Because as you see with here, if I put it on a track, I still have some back distance on the jib. So I have to move this off the set, bring it in my hallway, cheat this out some to achieve a little more depth and distance from the heart of the jib, or the focal point of the jib, on out. This configuration, a lot of times people, when they shoot stuff or when they're trying to do a rental, they're only thinking static shots. That's all they see in their head. I usually tell clients, look, you might be able to get more visually out of this shot, or cinematically out of this shot, with these particular mechanical tools. So kind of think in terms of movement, because with this particular setup, because the jib is on a dolly, not only am I able to do a complete 360 in any direction, and now I'm able to do that 360 in lateral space. I'm able to go up into the Z motion, the Z depth, and that's really important. Able to move now completely And with this particular configuration, the dolly, the jib on the dolly, you're able to get complete full freedom. Anyway, tune in, and when you come back, I'm gonna rig all this up, and when you'll come back, you'll see it all put together, and I'll get some of the shots and stuff like that. Anyway, tune in. Okay, as you see, the jib is a little too long in this situation. Skylar, if you could get the whole thing, right? As you can see, it's just a little too long, so the head should be center of the bed, so I can get that actual shot that he's looking for. So the good thing about the jib is it's in sections. Let me just put it down. It's in sections, so I'm gonna take off this middle tier, this middle piece, and put it on the second tier. Each tier, there's 3 tiers in the actual the base arm of the jib, but each tier gives it like an additional foot. So right now it's on the last tier, and I'll be putting it in the second tier and closing up the distance. So once I put it in the second tier and bring this back, or remove this piece and bring this back, I should be okay. It's kind of always funky when you're doing the mechanical stuff, because now you got to actually distance it out, and you have to reassemble and stuff like that until you get the actual shot you want. That's just part of the bit. That's just part of it, though. That, you know, that's normal stuff. So yeah, just tune in and, you know, come back in a little bit, and all this will be readjusted. I'll lose the table. The whole thing is, every time you add more length by changing the tier, you have to add more weights on the back. You have to add more weights on the back of the arm, because now the balance is all about the balance, getting that focal point, finding a focal point with the distance of what you have. So the only way you can really find it is through the balance. It's always here, but you really find it through the amount of weight and the balance. So it's all about the distribution, the proper distribution of the weight. People don't use the jib because they only utilize it for establishing shots or closing establishings. They don't use it inside of the actual scene itself. So because of that, it becomes like, oh, okay, it's just an I can't say it's a novelty because I try and utilize it a lot. There's a lot of nice things that you could do with it if you plan. The whole thing about production is planning your shots. You gotta plan your shots. If you don't plan your shots, then what's the blueprint? You'll be running around like a film student, just shooting stuff. You might get a good movie, but just imagine what would happen if you planned out your shot. Once again, it's not about the tool. I did a jib shot before without a jib, and I was on the top of a ladder. I actually literally was walking up the ladder to the top tier, and it formulated like a jib shot. So it's not the tool, it just comes down to the imagination. I did the same thing walking on top of someone's car. I don't recommend that because you could get beat up and fined and all whatever else. But for the most part, so as you see, this is the actual configuration. I'm glad I didn't have to move the table out, and I did fold out the futon and stuff like that. So just to make it give the producer director his simulated shot. And the thing is, I don't even know if I'll actually get the gig, the rental job, because this is just for a rental job. But at the same time, I wanted to give you a visual idea of what the shot is going to look like for the director producer of this music video. It's on his last tier. It's fully extended, the tripod. It's on its last tier on the arm. I took off the center pieces, and I fully achieved that shot on a 35 to 80 millimeter lens. And that's the 6D. Right now my daughter has the 7D in her hands. So that's pretty much it. Once again, Out the Box Entertainment. Jib arm, dolly. Over there is the switcher, the video switcher with dual monitors, 7-inch monitors that both can be split into quads. All this stuff is for rental, and that's pretty much it. Tune in for some more rental pieces as the jobs progress throughout the year. 2012. Think Out the Box Entertainment Rentals.
box entertainment.